Hello, everyone. Welcome to Carrow Road on this fine Sunday. Happy end of season. Few of the players and families have just been on the pitch together after the game with their kids having a kick around and things. They've just about finished up, so I am guessing. I'm guessing that will be them done for the campaign after this brief get together. They're all sort of filtering away, and then that will be them all off for the summer. I think a few of them are around maybe for a few more days at Colney just to sort of wrap stuff up, but that will be it. Okay. So Norwich have lost 5-0 here to Spurs. Spurs qualify for the Champions League. Heung-min's son scored twice. So he, in the end, shared the golden boot with Mo Salah. Leeds won, so Burnley are relegated. I've abridged a lot of that, but Burnley are relegated, so it will be Norwich, Burnley, and Watford in the Championship next year. And it will be Fulham. I'm testing my poor brain. Fulham, Bournemouth, and one of Huddersfield and Nottingham Forest who get promoted the other way. So that's all good news. That's sort of the administration. It does strike me as quite fitting that Norwich have been sort of diminished to a complete irrelevance, really, today, given what Spurs did. And the supporters, lots of them, Spurs supporters, all enjoyed their afternoon in Norfolk in the beautiful sunshine. It's been a gorgeous, wonderful, warm day. I've had lots of people over the last few weeks ask me how hard it's been, what it's been like, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it has been as challenging a campaign as any I've covered of this football club since I started doing this job roughly in 2007. I mean, in that time, Norwich have been down to League One, obviously. This was just sort of a summing up. I mean, it was just, gosh, you know what? I am probably in need of a holiday now at this point. I mean, it's been an embarrassment, really, this afternoon against a very good Spurs side. They scored 2 wonderful goals in the second half. They were 2-0 up by half time. But both of those goals were defensively really poor. I don't know whether to go through the details, really. I mean, Tim Krul was recalled, in the words of Dean Smith, because he basically has some internationals coming up, and Dean Smith said he did it for Tim, which is very kind. But I mean, I don't really think he got repaid for that. And just about sums that up. The first goal is pretty bad switching off defensively. Dejan Kulusevski scored the first goal. Harry Kane scored the second. Kulusevski, I thought, was the best player on the pitch. I thought he was just magnificent in the spaces he picked up. Norwich never got near him all afternoon. Maybe that's helped because, Spurs also have Kane and Son. So to concentrate on 3 players is very difficult. But Kulusevski is an absolute class act, and the goal he scored, which was Spurs' third in the second half, was an absolute beauty. Yanulis didn't seem particularly bothered in engaging him. Kulusevski had, just before that, the chance to just roll the ball into an empty net, but tried to find Son to get him on the score sheet for his golden boot claim. So that was I think Kulusevski's reaction to that was to curl into the top corner, and it was a brilliant shot. Probably better than his decision for the previous attack. Son then was denied a goal by Tim Krul with a wonderful save, but then Norwich just sort of didn't bother defending the next time Spurs came forward, and Son got to roll it in, and that drew him level with Mo Salah. And then Son scored another beautiful goal to make it 5-0. And that would have given him the golden boot in his own right, but Salah scored elsewhere. Manchester City won the title, in case you were interested. So that was sort of how the match action panned out. Sam Byron went off with an injury. I have to say, I wasn't actually in Dean Smith's press conference, so I don't actually know what the injury was. It's obviously, if you're going to get injured, now's the time to do it with nothing riding on it and a summer to recover from it. But obviously, with everything that Sam's done and come back in, which is so great to see, I hope that it is not, it's just something that just would have happened, and that actually going forwards, he would have been back next week, because, I would sense that him being fit is going to need to be a case of reliability for next year. Likewise, speaking to Christoph Zimmermann after the game today, who was the player who stepped forward and spoke. Yeah, I mean, Norwich were. Just look at Dimi Yanulis, trying to defend Kulusevski for the third goal. I mean, that sums it up, really. So did some of the other. Norwich just didn't compete. They just don't compete. So they have been by far away the worst team this season again, I think, because I'm guessing Watford did pick up a point at Chelsea. Even if they didn't lose 7-0. I went down to London and did a piece on trying to find stats that suggested Norwich weren't the worst team this season. But even Christoph Zimmermann sort of said there's no real marked improvement. And I think we all know that. So in terms of the action on the pitch, Norwich were sort of second-class citizens, if not third or fourth-class citizens. The referee, Chris Kavanagh, literally didn't play a single second of added time at the end of the second half, which always bemuses me. It's such an admission of can't be bothered, isn't it? Why not? There were however many substitutions, 3 goals, didn't play a single second of added time. No one ran on the pitch. We had chance from the Snake Pit just in front of me here. Webber out, Delia out. Not particularly big ones, but enough that I could hear them in the press box. We had a lap of appreciation where the players sort of gathered in the centre circle, and then just sort of walked around. And by the time they got towards here, there was some boos from the guys here. I mean, the lap of appreciation is mostly about the players and staff thanking the supporters, I suppose. So whatever the reaction comes back, you kind of probably have to just suck it up. But it was pretty horrible as a thing to see. But I suppose you have to do it. Otherwise, you'd be hiding from that. So that's all that. And yeah, that's it really for everything that's going to happen inside this ground this season. We'll come back for pre-season. I'm not sure if Norwich will play here in pre-season because it's quite a tight turnaround and the pitch is going to get turned up. And then we'll be into competitive championship action. And I look at the whole club at the moment. I look at the supporters, I look at the coaching staff, I look at the group of players, and I don't see how anyone is ready for that. Now, maybe the break will make that feeling more appeasing, and everyone will come back with a spring in their step. Maybe they will. And, Norwich have got history for it. And I'm actually have done this job long enough to know that making big claims at this point is impossible, because things can change very quickly and look very different very quickly. But it looks and feels broken at the moment. And certainly if next season goes how the other ones have gone, then it would probably be a even greater achievement. So there we go, something to strive for. But this has been dour and desperate. I've obviously written a long piece on The Athletic. If you haven't written it yet, I would obviously suggest you go and read it. Even if you're not a subscriber, go try it out, and then you can decide if it's worth it. But that is sort of in terms of me, my definitive account of this season. I think it explains a lot of where the thinking just went wrong, and we've seen all of that play out. And they are absolutely all there here in this club. They just have to prove that they've learnt from that and do a much better, more significant job this summer. Because if they don't, and people think they didn't get much leeway this year, I can tell you it's going to be seismically tougher next year if it doesn't look good. Dean Smith is watching this team absolutely capitulate, and he doesn't like it. He will be held responsible for that if it happens next year, rather than just being a sort of a figure of sort of leading it but inheriting it. So, so much of it is what it is. And yeah, I think we all need a break. I need a break. We'll see what happens. Lucas Rupp came on for his final appearance. Obviously, his contract's not being renewed, so it's goodbye to Lucas. And Yeah, Norwich played a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3, which I actually quite like the idea of that. I don't think it worked particularly. Jakob Sørensen, I feel for, because he was playing as left centre back. And he's looked really confident and comfortable on the right, but I've never seen him play on the left side. He's not a left-footed player, and I know he's played left back, but you're asking him to play a slightly different role again. And just think the poor guy is obviously versatile, but just seems to get the thin end of the wedge by just being told to play here and play there and everywhere. And I don't know if that really helps with his performance level. The rest of there was nothing of note other than Teemu Pukki running around and trying his best. He got presented with the Player of the Season award before the game, of course. And Bryony Williams got the Women's Award. The women did a lap of appreciation before the game, which was lovely, had it have been dealt with properly, but I might go into that on the On The Ball podcast. People are laughing at me because they're trying to work out if there's anything left to say before I sign off for this season. I do have to think about what content I'm going to do, by the way, because once I have no games to do these videos off, and once we take the podcast offline for the summer, what am I going to do a video about? I've got to do like regular videos of something. So send your suggestions. The loanees were all here to say goodbye, but Matthias Norman was the only one who played today. It will be fascinating to see what that 11 that played today, what that looks like compared to the 11 that obviously plays first game of next season. I think me standing here in silence would be a fitting end, really, for this season, when it has been a horror show. I've never known a season to come with such little. What is even the word? Competitiveness. Just never been in it. And so there we go. 8 months later, or whatever it is, I'm here, stood waiting for a holiday. I feel like I've missed loads of things, but I can't really think of what they are. If they're important enough, I'll write them on The Athletic. So essentially, that's all the players gone, I would imagine, today. Dean Smith and everyone will go out for their summer. I don't know when we're going to speak to anyone next. Obviously, we are expecting to hear from Stuart Webber at some point, because no one has actually done anything other than Dean Smith and the players on the record, and it would be customary to hear from someone before the end of the season. We'll have to see what that takes in terms of what it looks like. We will see. It might be that I don't get to speak to anyone. Call request is in. And then it'll be come pre-season at the end of June, and we will go again. So I hope you all have a brilliant break, rest and recharge, and do whatever you need to do to get this absolute show out of your system. What I will say is thank you so much to everyone who's sent me a message, who's replied, sent a comment on these videos, on the podcast, on anything I've written, any tweet I've posted, even the really lovely abusive ones. Anything you've read on The Athletic. I read a lot of them, as many as possible, without damaging my own mental health. And there's only a point in me doing all of this if people engage with it and feel that it adds a worth to their own experience of following this football club. And of course, it's a football club where, I did, my first game was in the South Stand over on that side, the old South Stand, obviously, when I was 8. My granddad used to sit in the top tier of the River End up there, and I sat up there for a bit. I used to have my own season ticket over there in the lower tier of the Barclay, row U, block E, seat 113, with Ben. Hey, Ben. And of course, now I sit up here in the press box when I'm lucky enough and not banned. So I know this place very well. I know it means a lot to all of you guys and girls out there, anyone from Norfolk and from Norwich, anyone who's lived here, anyone who's been here, anyone who's born here and isn't here anymore, any of your family who have come and gone and whatever. And it's seen so many ridiculous things of good and bad nature in this place. I never really forget that whenever I'm here. I know in my own, got to get very, very, very insular here, but in my own life, what this place is sort of represents through my family and myself. So rest assured, I always get it. I'm well aware of when it's absolute bollocks, and I know when it's good. This was in the top flight, but absolute bollocks. We will see what we get in the second tier, when I really hope it's not bollocks. And yes, we'll all be back again, one way or another. Have a brilliant summer. I'm not going anywhere because I'll, be doing videos once I've thought of what they're going to be of. And we do have one more On the Ball podcast, which will be on Monday night with me, Steve Sanders, I hope, Dan Brigham. May just be the three of us. We'll see if anyone else wants to join us. And we'll probably do some end of season awards and just have a laugh, because we've been very good at doing that in desperate circumstances this season. So that'll be fun. And yeah, I'll be back with the Athletic. As far as I know, I've not been told I've been sacked. No, I will be back with the Athletic in the Championship next season to go again. I am so not ready for it, which is why I'm signing off now. Have a brilliant summer. See you Monday. I'm not going. I'm going around in circles. I probably need a beer. And I'm going to take that down because I'm sorry, that was up for far too long, wasn't it? And have a brilliant time. All the best. Let me know what you're going to do over the summer. I'd like to know. I'm going to go on holiday somewhere. I'm going to learn how to play golf better. And probably going to put up some random songs that I play on my guitar on Instagram. What are you going to do? I can't wait to hear. And I look forward to it not involving football. Right, I'm going to do some hot takes. Take it easy, everyone. And goodbye.